We recently spent some time in Kyushu, Japan's southern island, known for its volcanic landscapes, historic towns, incredible food, and of course, onsens everywhere. We spent 10 days traveling across the island, visiting places like Fukuoka, Nagasaki, Kumamoto, Beppu, and the peaceful onsen town of Kurokawa. From steamy hot springs and scenic train rides to delicious ramen, clay pot rice, and more convenient snacks than we'd like to admit. This trip had a little bit of everything. If you are planning a trip to Japan and want to explore beyond the big cities, Kyushu might be exactly what you're looking for. This is 10 Days in Kyushu. And it starts now. We arrived in Fukuoka in the evening, so we only had a couple of hours to explore. Before heading to the hotel, we stopped by Hakata Station. Like many stations in Japan, it's more than just a station. It's full of restaurants, shops, and food stands. This is also where we started seeing Kumamon. And trust us, he will be around a lot during this trip. There is a lot to see in Hakata Station, but we are here for one thing, Hakata-style ramen. And we know the best place to try it for the first time.
Thank you. Yeah.
We tried their famous tonkotsu ramen. It was rich, creamy, and full of flavor. The perfect start to our Kyushu trip. Estuvo muy bueno, me gustó mucho. Fue el primer ramen de Japón 2024. After that amazing ramen, we look for a quick snack before heading to our hotel. The hotel we chose is pretty close to Hakata Station, so it was the perfect location for us, especially since we're planning to do some day trips. The room isn't too big, which is common in Japanese hotels, but it was enough for us. After checking in, we did our first konbini run. We grabbed some of our favorite items and then headed straight to the hotel's public bath before calling it a night. It's our first full day in Fukuoka, and it's also the first time we get to see the city during the day. We're heading to our first activity, and to get there, we need to take the train. We're visiting Dazaifu Tenmangu, one of the most famous shrines in Kyushu. The shrine complex is really big, so we're planning to spend the whole morning there. To get to the shrine, you first walk through a shopping street full of souvenirs and local snacks. We tried the famous umegai mochi, a warm rice cake filled with red bean paste, and we really like it. The shrine itself is beautiful. It's the perfect place if you enjoy photography, with traditional buildings, nature, and peaceful spots everywhere. There is also a small Inari shrine hidden in the complex. It's much less crowded than the one in Kyoto, and it has the same red torii gates that go up the hill. We also took a quick look at the Kyushu National Museum. The building is really modern and impressive, and the museum focuses on the history and culture of Kyushu. After the visit, we headed back to Fukuoka for lunch. We're having tsukemen, a dish we've been looking forward to try. It's kind of like a deconstructed ramen. You get a bowl of noodles and a separate bowl with dip in broth. It was absolutely delicious, one of the best meals we have had in Japan so far. We spent the evening just walking around the city, getting some coffee and bread. We also visited the famous yatai, small food stalls that pop up along the streets at night. To end the day, we did some shopping in Canal City. We were really surprised by how big the place is, and the water fountain show was actually really good. We started the day by buying the northern Kyushu Pass at Hakata station. The line was a bit long, but this pass will help us travel around easily over the next few days. Next, we took a direct train to visit Nanzoin Temple, famous for its giant reclining Buddha, one of the largest bronze Buddha statues in the world. Today, there is actually a typhoon passing through, and we also knew the Buddha is currently under maintenance. But we still wanted to visit the temple. The grounds are peaceful and surrounded by nature. One thing to note is that photography is not allowed in all areas, so if you are planning to come just for pictures, keep that in mind. But they do allow photos of the Buddha itself. Since the rain was pretty strong, we looked for indoor places to spend the day. First, we headed to Amdonut, which is quite popular. They have many types of savory and sweet donuts. We visit this place every time we're in Japan. After a quick snack, we headed to Damyo to check out a couple of stores before our dinner reservation. This is the restaurant we chose. The food was really nice, and the restaurant had an open kitchen where we could watch the chefs prepare the dishes. We ordered a set menu with multiple courses and really enjoyed everything. There were some nice and unexpected flavor combinations. It continued to rain for the rest of the evening, so we went back to the hotel to rest since we had a day trip planned for the next day. On day 4, we took a day trip to Nagasaki. It was still raining, but we decided to take the chance and go anyway. We rode the cute Kamome Shinkansen to Nagasaki. Once there, we had a quick breakfast at Yoshinoya before starting to explore. Our first stop was the Atomic Bomb Museum. We found the museum very informative with lots of detailed information about what happened. After that, we visited the bomb epicenter and the Peace Park. We had been to the Peace Park in Hiroshima before and expected something similar, but this place had a different feeling, more quiet and reflective in its own way. Next, we went to Dejima Island to learn more about Nagasaki history as the only trading port open to other countries during Japan's isolation period. We also visited Chinatown, which is the oldest in Japan. We looked for this popular Nagasaki snack and then headed to Nagasaki Seaside Park, a beautiful spot by the ocean. It was the perfect place to watch the sunset. Then we looked for a place to try a Nagasaki specialty meal called Sara Udon. We headed back to Hakata station and there we ran into another tsukemen place. We couldn't resist, so we stopped to try it. And that's how we ended the day. Today is our last day in Fukuoka. We'll be leaving the city around 7 p.m. to head to our next destination in Kyushu. We planned a more casual day, and since the weather was really nice, we wanted to make the most of it. Our first stop was Kushida Shrine, a peaceful spot right in the middle of the city. The shrine was really nice, and it reminded us that in Japan, you don't always need to visit the most famous place to have a great experience. The day was actually pretty hot, so we went looking for some ice cream to cool down. We walked along the shopping street, slowly making our way to Maizuru Park. it was a holiday, so there were a lot of people in traditional clothes. And some of them were doing photo shoots. We also visited Ohori Park. It was full of people enjoying their day. The park is beautiful with a big pond and walking paths that make it feel really peaceful. We weren't that hungry, but we noticed a place selling melon pan and more ice cream. So of course, we had to try it. For lunch, we went to Komeda. It's one of our favorite casual spots. There was a queue, but it moved fast. We tried their tonkotsu sandwich, and we also ordered some dessert. We only wanted one, but there was a little misunderstanding. Anyway, we were happy with the outcome. Since it was almost time for our train, we spent the rest of the afternoon checking out the shops in Hakata Station. You can really find everything here. As the day came to an end, it was time to head to our next stop, Kumamoto, where we knew we would see a lot more of Kumamon. The Shinkansen ride was quick, and we arrived at Kumamoto Station in no time. From there, we took a tram to our hotel, where we were welcomed with a stunning view of Kumamoto Castle. For dinner, we had our Kamome Shinkansen bento in the room, and that's how we ended the day. Tomorrow, we explore Kumamoto. We only had one day to explore Kumamoto, so we had to use it well. Our first stop was Kumamoto Castle. Or at least that was the plan. On the way, we stumbled upon a small shrine and decided to take a quick look. That's the thing about Japan, it's really hard to follow an itinerary. There is always something unexpected and beautiful to see. Kumamoto Castle was really close to our hotel. Once there, we explored the area around it. This castle is one of the most impressive in Japan, and it's known for its huge stone walls and black wooden exterior. It was damaged in the 2016 earthquake, but the reconstruction is ongoing. And it's still very impressive to visit. We also tried some popular Kumamoto snacks, like horse meat sashimi, a Kumamon-shaped manju, and this ice cream that we really like. After the castle, we visited the Lafcadio Hearn house, a traditional Japanese home where the famous writer once lived. It gave us a quick look into old-style Japanese life, and the house itself was really charming. One of the staff members recommended a nearby shop for manju, so of course we had to try it. These were the best manju we have had in Japan so far. Soft, warm, and filled with delicious red bean paste. We explored the area a little more before heading to the famous gardens in Kumamoto. This is a traditional Japanese garden with a small pond, little bridges, and even a mini Mount Fuji. For dinner, we had Kumamoto-style ramen, which was a perfect way to end the day. Kumamoto Ramen is known for its rich pork broth and the use of garlic oil. It was really tasty. We took an early bus to Kurokawa, a small onsen town hidden in the mountains, famous for its outdoor baths. The bus ride was really scenic, and we even got a great view of Mount Aso along the way. When we arrived, we went straight to our Ryokan to drop off our luggage and then start exploring the town. The first thing we did was get an onsen pass, which lets you visit 3 different public baths. We walked around a bit and headed to our first onsen experience. The main thing to do in Kurokawa is just relax, so that's what we did. We went onsen hopping, tried a few snacks, and took lots of photos. The town is really beautiful. Later, we went back to our Ryokan to rest and check out our Japanese-style room. We love sleeping on futons. That night, we had a delicious kaiseki dinner and ended the day with a visit to the Ryokan's public bath before going to bed. We started the day with a really nice breakfast. We love Japanese breakfast because it is so balanced, with lots of small dishes that let you try a bit of everything. Then we went out to explore the town and try one of the food baths. After that, we visited a couple more onsens, following recommendations from the staff at our Ryokan. The public baths in this town are beautiful. All of them are outdoors and offer amazing views of the forest, waterfalls, and rivers. We were leaving the town a bit early today, so we didn't have time to stop at a restaurant. Instead, we grabbed a few snacks from a small local shop. Then we took the bus to Beppu, which is about 2.5 hours away. The views of Kyushu along the way were stunning. We even passed through Yufuin, a place we ended up skipping on this trip. Once we arrived in Beppu, we headed straight to our hotel to check in and rest. We are finally in Beppu, the last city we visited on our Kyushu trip. This was one of the places we were most excited about, and one of the main reasons we decided to come to Kyushu in the first place. Beppu is famous for its incredible number of hot springs and unique geothermal landscapes. We started the day with a traditional Japanese breakfast at our hotel. Then headed out to explore the city. Our first stop was the famous Beppu Hills. We took a bus to the area and it turned out to be much bigger than we expected. And honestly, it surpassed our expectations. Each hill had its own unique look and atmosphere. It was super interesting to see all the different colors, sounds, and textures. We grabbed a quick ice cream and a snack before continuing to tour the area. After visiting the 7 hills of Beppu, we headed to a popular observation deck to take in the city's most iconic view, the clouds of rising steam. We found Beppu to be a really picturesque and walkable city. The mix of mountains, steam, and old buildings made it feel really special. There were lots of public baths around, but we didn't try any. Later in the day, we went to a popular local restaurant known for its onsen steam food. We ordered a set and got to steam it ourselves, using the geothermal steam. It was a really fun experience. The food was simple but delicious, and the whole process made the meal feel extra special. It got pretty late, so we wrapped up the day here, and now we're heading to the hotel to enjoy the public bath. Today is our final day in Kyushu. We're taking an overnight ferry to Osaka in the evening, so we only had a few hours to explore. Our first stop was Mount Surumi, which is actually the highest peak in the Beppu region. To get there, we took a 30-minute bus ride from the city, followed by the Beppu ropeway, a scenic cable car ride that offered beautiful views as we climb higher into the mountains. Once at the top, there are several walking trails, small shrines, and panoramic viewpoints. We weren't that lucky since the mountain was mostly covered in clouds during our visit, so we couldn't see much, but the misty atmosphere actually made it feel pretty magical. After coming back down, we stopped by a local bakery famous for its brioche bread. Everything looked too good to resist, so we grabbed a few pieces and ate them by the seaside. Later, we did a bit of last-minute shopping at Don Quijote, picking up some popular Japanese snacks and souvenirs for friends and family back home. And since there was a Kyoto sushi nearby, we couldn't resist stopping for one last sushi meal before leaving Kyushu. In the evening, we headed to the Beppu ferry terminal to catch our overnight ferry to Osaka, a journey that takes about 12 hours. This was our first time taking a long-distance ferry in Japan, and we were really pleasantly surprised by the experience. We really enjoyed the buffet dinner on board, and even though our room was small, it was clean, cozy, and comfortable enough for a good night's rest. It was a unique and relaxing way to wrap up our time in Kyushu, waking up the next day in a completely different part of Japan. We really enjoyed our time in Kyushu. Looking back, we feel like we could have easily spent another week here. There is just so much to see and do, and it truly felt like the perfect place in Japan to slow down and enjoy the moment. During this trip, we ate amazing food, relaxed in plenty of public baths, took in some beautiful landscapes, had our fair share of convenient snacks, and discovered so many unexpected little gems along the way. If you're looking to experience a different side of Japan, one that's a bit more relaxed and less crowded, then Kyushu is definitely worth the trip. We know we'll be coming back someday. That's it for this video. If you enjoy it, please like and subscribe. That will make us really happy.